Brewbound exclusive.
Chris here with Brewbound.com, and I am with two giants, two big faces in the craft beer world, Jim Koch and Sam Calagione. Welcome, guys.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Here, we showed up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm drinking the Festina Petch.
Nice.
Very good. And then after
the
this,
summer beer.
Nice.
and then after this, we're gonna get into some SAVOR Flowers.
Yes, we are. This is sort of an unveiling right now.
Right.
I haven't tried it other than the test batches that have come back and forth.
I had it
between
in
our
a
breweries.
bar.
You did?
Yeah, at lunchtime, because you got to have the beer outside the brewery to really know what it tastes like. So I opened one in a bar. It's a simulation. It was a dry run for tonight.
Awesome.
It was good. I think we can release it. Yeah.
And that's a good launching point for our conversation here. Talk a little bit about the beer. I know that you guys, this is your first collaboration between you two, and you used Barrel One to age the beer. So I'll start with you, and then you can kind of pitch in and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we each had our unique ideas and unique contributions in terms of ingredients and novel, interesting brewing techniques to this beer. So it really was a genuine collaboration where we all brought something to the party. And one of the things we brought was Barrel One, the first bourbon barrel that was used to age beer way back in the beginning of extreme beer in 1993.
Wow. Now what?
Dogfish even was a glint in my eye.
Yeah. Now what's it like using a barrel that's that old and is something that's sort of I guess been in your arsenal for a while?
Well, it's iconic in a way, but we had to empty it, so we tasted some of this 18-year-old barrel-aged beer, and that was pretty good.
And just put that into a different barrel, and it'll make it into a future batch of triple bock.
Yeah. Well, we use the triple bock now as a blending ingredient for Utopias.
Okay.
So that's how it's
component of Utopias.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, how did you guys link up and decide, hey, let's do a beer for SAVOR, let's do our first collaboration, 2011 SAVOR event?
It was at the Fritz in Boston. No, it was, we both serve on the board of the Brewers Association, and we both, since the inception of SAVOR, have been the sponsor brewers at sort of the highest level of sponsorship, along with some other great breweries that sponsor SAVOR. But this is something that both Jim and I recognize as an awesome forum to show off and highlight how well craft beer, not just our own, goes with high-end food. So it kind of started from that, right?
Yeah, it was sort of the East Coast version of the Great American Beer Festival. The GABF is a unique, one-of-a-kind event. Right. It's rooted in Denver. You can't really move it. Right. And frankly, Sam had the idea of doing something similarly unique, only on the East Coast. Right. And we're a little more elevated here, and a little more refined. Yeah, so we decided, let's take it up a notch. Let's do it in a beautiful building. Right. Let's do it with great food. Let's limit it. Let's invite the brewers to pour. Let's make it a very special event.
It's not huge, but the people that run the breweries are behind the booth, and the people that love the beers from those breweries can actually go to the booth and meet the people whose beers they love.
It's a very user-friendly experience, putting a face to the brewery itself, because in most circumstances, a lot of the consumers don't get a chance to interact with, people like yourselves. Yeah. So it's a really good opportunity. Yeah. Now, speaking of other opportunities outside of sort of the your regular realm or your spectrum of just your day-to-day beer production, each of you guys have sort of branched out and done some side projects. Sam, for you, it's Italy. Jim, you guys do quite a bit of donation to upstart businesses. So I guess I'll start with you. Talk a little bit about your motivation behind that, and where you see your side projects going in the future.
Well, you mentioned one of the things we're doing. It's called Brewing the American Dream, right. And it's basically a microfinance program. Because when I got started, I couldn't get a loan. It was very difficult getting financing. I'm sure Sam went through the same things. It's common to all craft brewers, and I thought, Sam Adams has done well beyond my wildest dreams. How do we give back in a way that represents what I do as a business, which is add value? So it actually came to me. We did a day of community service. All my company went. We painted a community center, and everybody felt really good about it. And I felt this was really stupid. It was a real waste of very talented people. Great designers, our CFO, myself, painting woodwork. What a waste.
Yeah.
Let's give back in a way that adds value, because that's what a business does. We take malt and hops and other ingredients and we make them into something wonderful.
Right.
We add value. So that was the rationale behind the microfinance program, is let's find businesses that can't get funding, but if they can get funding, they will use that money to grow their business, create jobs, be successful, and pay it back.
Right.
And then we can keep recycling the loans. So each dollar we put into this program makes about 10 loans before the money runs out. So we've created 600 jobs out of it, made almost 70 loans, and we've now expanded it to begin funding small brewers who need. We just actually last week made our first loan to a brewery in California, $10,000, so that he can buy some equipment.
Cool.
And amp his production up 20%.
Now, speaking of creating jobs at La Barreria in New York,
Yep.
Fifth Avenue, new hotspot for craft beer, Italy. Tell us a little bit about your side project.
Yeah, I was up there last night for the grand opening. We got a tiny little 3.5 barrel brew house with 7 barrel tanks on a rooftop in New York, and Dogfish, Baladan, and Beer del Borgo are the 3 collaborating brewers, and it's a lot of fun. 100% of our production goes into firkins, everything served out of beer engines, and working with Mario Batali and Joe Bastianich on the restaurant side, so it's been a fun collaboration. We're doing another brewery in Rome with those guys that'll open early next year.
Awesome. Now, speaking of collaborative efforts, obviously here at SAVOR with your work at Italy.
This is the last question.
This is the last question. I see. Yeah, I promise this is the last question. Collaborations for you guys in the future. Is SAVOR Flowers the one and only collaboration between Dogfish and Boston Beer, or do you guys maybe have something up your sleeves for the future?
I'd like to begin by saying that that on behalf of my 100 or so co-workers, we're honored to do this, because Jim's never done a collaboration with an American brewery before, so we were honored at Dogfish to be the first, and we had an awesome time doing it. This was meant to be almost like a piece of artwork that you put on the wall, and we don't try and make another 30 pieces of artwork around it. Never say never, but this experience, the fact that it's a beer that we spent this much of our resources on, and our co-workers' resources and sweat and tear, and it's not going to be sold anywhere, I kind of love that. It's truly a labor of love.
It gets to the essence of the brewer's art, because the essence of the brewer's art, it's a performance art.
Right.
It exists only in the moment of its own creation. It's not permanent. You can't put it on the wall. You can't put it in a sculpture garden. It literally only exists in the moment of its own creation. I like that.
Well, hopefully we have a couple more moments from you guys, and in the future, Sam, in the future. Cheers, guys. Thanks for spending a couple minutes with me.